home of Tupelo Music Academy. This is the Music is Life podcast. We have our special guest here, Pastor Robert Flemings Jr. from Good Shepherd all the way in Pontotoc. We're going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself. But before we get to that, we are in the Invest into Your Music Ministry series. I've had some good speakers here. I know Pastor going to drop some gems for us. If you're looking for music lessons, we're going to get to that. If you're looking at music lessons, Tupelo Music Academy is your place. This podcast is sponsored by Tupelo Music Academy. We're going to, the M Tribe who don't know you, introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself to the M Tribe.
What's going on, family? Robert Fleming here. As you said before, from Pontotoc, Mississippi. Was raised there and have been really, I guess, in this area for most of my life. I went away to school for a few years, but now I'm back. Have the esteemed pleasure of serving as the pastor of Good Shepherd Church there in Pontotoc, where we've been serving now for getting close to 4 years, which is crazy. Time flies. But yeah, just excited to be here, excited to dive into some of these questions. And listen, man, just proud and amazed at all the things that you all are doing here at Tupelo Music Academy. It's a blessing to be here. And yeah, hopefully something that's said adds value. And yeah, so I'm excited to be here, man. Yeah,
man. I had to have you here. I've had an opportunity to play for Pastor. I've had an opportunity to play for his parents. The musicians there at the church, wonderful musicians. Pastor leads a great team over there. And that's one of the reasons why I called you. People who definitely invest into their music departments, into their futures. I wanted to talk to those pastors. We started off with my father, Bishop Cummings. Of course, everybody knows that my mentor was Dr. P, who just led us through music. We've had Dr. Pinson in. Now we got Pastor Flemings in. So we're going to start with our first question. And from your perspective, what role does music play in the spiritual growth of church and in its members?
Absolutely. So just for context, music has been a part of my life since before I can remember. And so since I've been a kid, before I could speak good, I was singing and beating on stuff to try to be a drummer. Yeah. And so music really helps to give us a language to connect with God, that sometimes maybe our words are not always adequate. Right. And so, yeah, before I was able to quote a scripture, I was singing, "Yes, Jesus loves me." Yep. And so it provides a solid foundation for us to connect with God. I tell people all the time that music ministry really creates the atmosphere of a worship experience. And so I take it very serious because music can determine whether or not the spirit is lifted, or maybe it's a more solemn, sober moment. Yep. It creates a flow. It does. As I was reflecting on the impact of music in our church, I believe music really serves as a connection or a means to connect with God. Mm-hmm. If you go look at the Bible, so many times when it was time to go to war, there was music that went along with that. Yes. Right? When it was time to celebrate, there was music that went along with that. And so music serves as a connection. And for me, in particular, it was one of the things that gave me a strong foundation in understanding how to express what I was feeling in regards to my relationship with God. Man, I love that answer.
Music carries so much weight. Like I said before, a lot of times people don't understand the importance of music until they don't have it. Yes. And when you don't have it, it definitely affects what you, how you flow. I know that my mom was always on us, listen to the flow and to the move of God, be attentive, but then allow yourself to be used so that because you don't know where people are at in ministry at that time. You don't know what you're playing or how you playing will affect someone. So I remember, and our stories are similar. We're pastor kids. We were introduced to music I was a funny story with my family is I always make noises with my mouth. You know, I'm doing the drums or guitars or saxophones, and my parents would tell me, "Binky," and I was, "Ma'am, shut up." And then I would do one more, psst, and they're like, "Lord," but it was a part of me, and I remember you coming up, you singing and drums, and then I saw you on organ, and it's just those transitions that are a part of us that just make music important for us. So, being that we are the next generation, why do you believe it's important for churches to invest and teach music to our children and youth inside the church?
Absolutely. It gives them a strong foundation of understanding worship, right? And not just worship from the sense of a genre, but worship in a sense of taking our lives and positioning it in a way that pleases God. And so music helps put us in that place.
It does.
Right? As you said, look, just like you grew up and sang all the time. My mom and dad tell stories now about how they probably got tired of hearing me sing all the time. But what it was doing was giving me a foundation, an understanding of how to connect with God.
Yes.
And that has to be intentional.
It does.
One of the things that my parents never did, they never discouraged that in me. They pushed it and encouraged it because I believe they understood that if he sings about it and if he plays the music and if he leans into it, one of the days he's going to have a real encounter with the God that he's singing about.
It does. I think it's that connection. I know my mom said when she was pregnant with me, the Lord gave her that he would play like David. So she already knew before I was born I was going to be a musician. I was listening to this interview on YouTube with Miles Davis, and the reporter asked him, would you still play music if you wasn't famous? He was like, of course. He's like, because it's always there. He's like, I can hear it now while we're talking. Music is always there, and I felt like in church, I had those ones throughout the years who saw that in me and said, do you want to play drums? Are you going to play saxophone? And they would encourage me to, keep going. You're going to be good. You're going to be good. You keep doing it, even when I was terrible. Keep going. I know I try to do that. It was important for me. And I know I see young people now, they're doing things and I'm like, keep going, man. You're going to be good. Or, keep singing or keep showing up for practice.
Right.
You're going to be all right. It takes that time. And so sometimes it's done with words. Sometimes it's done in deeds. But investing is definitely a part of keeping people involved in ministry. So
absolutely. With
that, what would you say to church leaders who may not see a need to invest into music?
Well, I tell people that music is not just an accessory to a ministry.
Yeah.
Music is ministry.
100.
And this right here probably me putting on my church analytical hat here. But the churches that are growing, the churches that are moving, a lot of them have strong music departments. And so I tell people this. I said people a lot of times will come for the music, stay for the word. And so if you want your church to grow, not just physically but also spiritually, then music is something that is important. It is necessary. It is essential. And a lot of times as you invest in your music department, you start seeing the flow of the service move in a different way. People are able to encounter and experience the presence of God in a different way. And then also, too, music ministry is one of the premier places for people to get connected and serving in a church. Many people, their start in church service is probably singing in a choir. And so it's a good place for people to get connected, and people bond and people grow as being connected to music ministry. So it's not an accessory. It is essential. Music is ministry. And so to me, it's hard to do ministry well if you're not investing and seeing music as an essential part of it.
I 100% agree with that. I know that we're in different times, and I know years ago, as my father would say, years ago, when we were playing, the guys and the girls would line up to play drums or play this, and we don't see that as often as we should, but that might be a way for young people to stay in ministry. That might be a way for them to integrate themselves into ministry. And so the higher hands, that's great. And for ministries who can afford to do that, it is a blessing. But the farming system of developing that next person, because, people move away to get jobs and, things happen and move to other parts of the country. And if you're left without that investment, then here we are, I really need that. I need that music. I feel like we miss that a lot because we don't take the time to invest. The big thing that in this series is investing into music. We had those opportunities to do it through band, through church, and just learning. But sometimes I don't think our churches really see that necessary need of, hey, I think I need to take some time to invest into this person.
Absolutely.
To do that.
Can I chime in right there?
Yeah.
I think that sometimes, especially in this content creation society that we're in now, sometimes we can get so fixated on polished, finished products.
Yes.
That sometimes we forget that for every polished, finished product, there was a process that went into that. And
100.
Every musician, every singer now that we are seeing rise to the top now in terms of visibility, in terms of opportunity, everybody starts somewhere.
Yep.
And I even look at me, not saying that I'm the greatest, that are, but I do what I can. But even what I am able to do and who I've become has been because of a process. And processes take time. And I think sometimes with process, we also have to have the patience to allow things to develop, allow things to grow, allow things to mature.
I think that's where we are. We're in that instant thing. One of the business guys that I follow, he says, "You see me now." He said, like 15 years ago, it was just the only people who was following me was my mama and my brother and my dad, and the video was dim and I was, bad lighting. And he's like, "Now you see this." He said, "But it was a process to get there." I was looking at this one musician on TikTok, and he said that's the thing that we just kind of forget. Is the process. And because I know there were the times where me and my brother, we sat on the back of the stage, we were not on key, we didn't have the time and didn't have the rhythm, and mama clapped as if we were David Sanborn and Marcus Miller back there. And it was like, yeah, y'all can do it. But even through those times, after a while, things started to click. So I know we're in that process now. My two sons and nieces and nephews are learning how to play, and they're developing. But because I'm seasoned, I know the process. I'm like, yeah, y'all gonna be all right here in another year or so. Full band again, and then people will say, "Well, where they come from?" Well, we took the time to work with them. I like what you said right there, Pastor, on that. If a church wanted to begin to strengthen their music education program, what would be the steps that you would recommend them take first?
First, I would encourage whoever the leader is to ask God for vision. It's going to be hard to develop what you don't see.
Yep.
And so ask God for vision. God, what is your will for our church, and what is your will for our music ministry? Once God gives you clear vision and gives you direction on which way he wants you to go, now it's time for us to start looking for individuals to develop, right? We are looking for individuals who have potential, may not be there. Again, we're not looking for finished products,
right?
But we're looking for seeds we can put in the ground, seeds that we can put water on, put them in the right position to start developing and growing. Another part of my testimony is I am the product of a developed seed. I didn't play organ, didn't really sing a whole lot, but my mom saw potential there, similar to your mother, and told me one day day she heard me playing a little something, and then she told me in the service, hey, go over there and sit on the organ. And I sat over there, and everybody was looking, but it was a seed that was put in the ground that started to mature. And so once you identify those individuals that have that potential, start pouring water on them. Start pouring water. I know we live in a digital age now. For some of the people that we're trying to develop, I'll send a video and say, hey, look at this, listen to this, and try to draw them close in a way that they can start picking up on some of not only just the talent things, but the cultural things that come along with playing music as well. And so, number one, ask God for vision. Number two, start looking for seeds. Once you find those seeds, pour into those individuals what you want to see come out of them. It's going to be hard to receive what you have not poured into.
Yes.
And so pour into them.
I know in all of those steps, sometimes giving a student an opportunity is not going to sound like Ricky Dillard.
Oh, 9 times out of 10.
It's not going to sound like Fred Hammond and the ones that we listen to on these records. But at the same time, like you said, you're planting that seed, encourage them, keep them moving. Every day, every week, every moment. And as we say down here at Tupelo Music Academy, one note at a time, one practice at a time, you will start to develop that and flex that muscle, strengthen it. And then before you know it, you got ministry all in your church helping you. The other part of that is sometimes we don't see the ones that are in band or the ones who are maybe a little shy or where to go. That's where we come in. Now, we're not saying we're the only place in the area, but we definitely, because I'm ministry led, faith led, I want to be a blessing to those out there. We definitely want to make sure that if you are looking for that help in ministry, we have several praise and worship leaders that work here, and in that capacity, we want to definitely be a help. If you see those seeds, we are reaching out to ministries. We want to help, because I've gone to ministries where they're playing on the speaker, no musicians, zero, and people don't know how blessed they are if they have at least one in their church.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Pastor's blessed with a team. We were blessed with a team, but every church is not at that capacity. We want to be able to help in there. So kind of closing on this, Pastor, where can people find you? Talk about the church and give that information out.
Absolutely. I tell people everywhere that I believe that we have the privilege to pastor the greatest church in the world. We're located at 184 West Bolton Street there in Pontotoc. So if you're coming from the Tupelo area, Highway 6 will take you straight there. And we'd love to have anybody come and worship with us at any time. We typically have worship on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And Wednesday evenings we have Bible study at 7 p.m. And in terms of connecting with us, we are on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, you can find me at Rob D. Flemings Jr. You can find the church at Good Shepherd Pontotoc. And also on social media, Robert Flemings Jr. You can find me there in the church, Good Shepherd Koji. They're on social media as well. So feel free to go and follow, like, engage with the content. And if God leads you there, listen, I promise you, it will not be something that you will regret. The Spirit of God is there. The praise is amazing. The music ministry, I feel like, is amazing as well. And God gives us fresh manna every week. So we'd love to have you come anytime. Join us.
Hey, I can attest for that. Been there, played with there. Got my brothers over there, have played. Wonderful church, loving church, welcoming. Music is off the chain. Had the opportunity to play over there a couple Sundays back. Just love to be over there. But that was Seeds, because we had Cedric on the podcast before. And, of course, Mr. Bobby Johnson is my boy, my drummer. Love him, and just being around you and all of that, it's just been a blessing. So, Pastor, I definitely appreciate you being on the Music is Life podcast. Like I said, if you're looking for those music lessons, whether they're for your church, for school band, or just for yourself, Tupelo Music Academy is here to help. We do bands and strings and everything in between. As I say, come down, take a visit with us. Look for us on TupeloMusicAcademy.com, on our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,